You're told to start an AI agency or a dropshipping store or start a newsletter. I'm here to tell you that's the most terrible advice for an ambitious professional. If you spend 5 minutes on this platform, you'll be familiar with this hype that the only way to financial freedom is to quit your job and become an entrepreneur. You're told to start an AI agency or a dropshipping store or start a newsletter. I'm here to tell you that's the most terrible advice for an ambitious professional. Being an entrepreneur is incredibly difficult. Most people doing it full-time are barely keeping their heads above water. If you try to do it part-time, you're almost guaranteed to fail. But there is a grown-up way to add an extra $10,000 a month to your income without the risk of a startup. It doesn't involve hustling or your weekends. It involves a mechanism that is hidden in plain sight, which allows you to keep your salary, improve your career prospects, and build an entirely new stream of high-level income. More importantly, it allows you to build on your existing career rather than having to pivot to something new. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it using what I call the inside access strategy. Most people think that to make extra money, they need to trade their time for it. They think about side hustles. But as a senior professional, your time is your most expensive asset. If you spend your Saturday mornings trying to figure out how to run Facebook ads for a coffee shop, you're losing money. The secret isn't to become an entrepreneur, it's to become entrepreneurial. There's a massive difference. An entrepreneur takes the risk, manages the payroll, deals with the stress. An entrepreneurial professional identifies where value is being lost and steps in to capture it. The most realistic vehicle for this is becoming a non-executive director, a NED, of another company. Now, stop thinking about the FTSE 100 or Fortune 500. You aren't going to walk into a board seat at Apple tomorrow. But there are millions of small to medium enterprises, SMEs, that are desperate for the specific corporate experience you already have. They don't need you for 40 hours a week. They need your grown-up brain for just 2 to 3 hours a month. And that board seat is just the entry ticket. It's the platform that opens up the real $10,000 and much higher opportunities. Let me give you a real-world example from our Veblen community. I worked with a professional who joined the board of a growing company as a non-executive director. At the start, it was actually an unpaid role. She was doing it for the connections and the experience. Now, many people would say, why should I work for free? But she understood the inside access principle. Once she was sitting on that board, she could see exactly how that company made money and, more importantly, where they were struggling. She realized they had a massive leadership gap that was costing them millions. Because she was already a board member, she had their trust. She didn't have to pitch them like a stranger. She offered to provide leadership coaching 1 day a week outside of her board duties. Her rate was $5,000 a day. That turned into $20,000 a month from a single relationship she found through a free board seat. But it didn't stop there. Because she was on that board, she could get warm introductions to their suppliers, their investors, and their high net worth clients. She became the connector in that ecosystem, taking percentages of deals and introductions that most employees never even hear about. The trick is to stop thinking about a salary and start thinking about how to monetize the inside access you get when you sit at the board table. How do you actually do this? At Veblen, we use 5 specific components. If you master these, you can land your first board seat within weeks, not years. Number 1 is connections. Stop going to networking events. They're full of people looking to sell to you. Instead, start meeting small business owners, angel investors, and other board members. You want to be in rooms where the owners are trying to solve problems. That is where the opportunity is. Number 2, knowledge. You already have your career expertise, but to be a director, you need to think holistically. You need to understand the language of the board, capital markets, investor relations, business strategy. You don't need an MBA, you don't need to be an expert, but you do need to understand how a business actually creates value for its shareholders. Number 3 is profile. As an employee, your profile is likely internal. Your boss knows you're great, but the market doesn't. You need to move your reputation from inside the building to on the web. This means updating your LinkedIn and sharing your insights. If you aren't visible, you don't exist to the people who are currently looking for directors. Number 4, adding value. This is the most critical part. Don't join a board to see what you can get. Join a board to see what you can give. Can you introduce them to a partner? Can you fix a process that's broken? When you add value first, the monetization follows naturally. Number 5, leverage. This is where the $10,000 comes from. How do you leverage your position to open new doors? Every board meeting is an opportunity to see a problem you can solve, a deal you can broker, or a person you can help. And this doesn't need to take a long time. At Veblen, once our members join, we normally have them with their first board seat within 7 to 10 days. One of the biggest mistakes I see professionals make is thinking too locally. They only look for board seats in their own city. In 2026, proximity is dead. Most board meetings happen over Zoom. That means it no longer matters where you are physically located. It's your experience that adds the value, not your physical proximity. Think about it. A company in the US or Europe that wants to expand into Asia needs someone with local domain knowledge. You become incredibly valuable to them just by being where you are and knowing what and who you know. You can sit on a board 5,000 miles away and still be the most important person in the room because you are their bridge to a new market. Don't limit yourself to your backyard. There are more companies globally than there are locally. Use that to your advantage. If you're an ambitious professional and you're tired of the start a side hustle advice, it's time to change your strategy. You don't need a new job, you need a new seat. The first thing you should do today is look at your LinkedIn profile. Ask yourself, if I were a CEO looking for a board member, would I want to hire the person that I see here? If the answer is no, that's where we start. In the comments, I'm going to link to a free tool that will help you upgrade your LinkedIn profile and one that will help you write your first board pitch. If you're interested to learn more, I run a regular webinar on this topic. You can find more information in the description below. I'm Callum Laing, and I'll see you in the next video.